All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Good to see you. We are live on Rockfin, Callin, and on YouTube. Remember to like the video and subscribe or whatever it is people do these days. Whatever the kids are doing. All right. Greetings, everyone. Poppy Davis bought me 3 coffees yesterday after the show and said, thanks every day, Kevin. I'm switching from Patreon. Patreon is another way that you can support the channel. So thank you, Poppy. I appreciate that. All right. Let's go gadget. Let's get into it. As usual, so many things to cover. Sunday. It's a nice day in LA today. Not too warm. Kind of warming up a little bit, but not that warm. My computer is not freaking out yet completely. Anyways, let's start. This is a great tweet. Start with this great tweet. From Climate Dad. We fly where we want, we drive where we want, we eat what we want, we buy what we want. That's what's driving growth. That's what's leading us to ecological and societal collapse. That's what needs to change. And a lot of people would call that anti-human or crazy. They're trying to tell you you can't have your cheeseburger and your large semi-sized 4x4. They're telling you can't go anywhere you want to go. These communists. You know, but that is actually what's driving ecological and societal collapse. That is exactly what it is. I personally am not anti-human. I think we could use a big dose of humble. It's a big old fat dose of self-reflection. Just a big dose of awareness, self-awareness. You know? And if you applied the rule to anything you did in your personal life, I drink what I want and I eat what I want and I do it all the time. Well, you probably would be in bad shape. Or your finances would be in bad shape. I buy whatever I want. I just do whatever I want. Like, your personal life would be an absolute mess if that's how you lived your life. But humans as a whole, no problem. No problem. And if you have an issue with that, you're anti-human. No, not really. Actually, I'm actually more pro-human than the I get to do whatever I want humans. Those are the real the people with the depopulation agenda are the people that are just like whatever. No limits, bro. This tweet is pretty good. There's an ironic twist to it. Emma May says, you know who isn't in denial about climate change? The entire insurance industry. There will be entirely uninsurable areas of populous places sooner than you think. And that's true. It's absolutely true. The insurance industry knows what's going on. Just like, all the truther people, with, insurance companies, and were paying out death benefits at a higher rate last year. Like they were pointing to that, talking about, well, something's going on here, because that's a pretty good indicator. Well, there's an indicator too that climate change is actually a real thing that's happening, because insurance companies are not insuring or raising the rates on certain places, homes in certain places. Anyways, but the funny thing about the ironic twist to this is, because this tweet got so many likes, you know what people do when they have a tweet that goes viral? They start, they promote themselves, or promote, a charity, or promote, they're like, oh, usually I got 20 likes on a tweet, and suddenly I got, 300,000 or 30,000. Let me, because it's got so much traction, let me post something, promote something else, right? To all the eyeballs. She goes, and if you're in the market for women's wear, we manufacture 80% of our products at small batches in Canada and the U.S. I mean, yeah, I know people got to buy clothes. I get it. And she's saying we produce things in small batches. It's just funny, because she's talking about climate change, says a very real thing about climate change, and it goes like, and support my business. It's whatever. People got to eat, okay? I understand. I understand people got to eat, but we're gonna business ourselves out of business. I think I'm gonna trademark that. TM, business yourself out of business. What's up, people of Rockfin? I see you. I'll see you, people of Rockfin. All right, let's keep going. I fear that I'm moving too slowly. And there's a whole lot of kind of crazy stuff to cover. This is wild. Poppy posted this. Several people posted this. I saw this first from Poppy. A giant landslide makes lake disappear. This is a jade mine. Self-employed workers collecting waste left behind by a larger mining company. This is, the awesomeness of humans, as in we're so awesome we can, destroy whole lakes from our waste. From our waste. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty crazy. Some crazy footage. It just pushes all this water out of this lake down the, I don't know, I wonder what happened down the mountain further, a ways. Anybody get flooded out from this? Drowned from this? Anyways, this is wild footage. Oh, Scott Andrews sent me this. This is an interesting video. This is just a guy who's talking about this episode of What's Going On with Shipping. This is a guy who's talking about, his channel is called What is Going On with Shipping. And he's talking about like supply chain problems. But the Mississippi River is low on water. So where we heard that before? It seems like all major rivers are low on water. It seems like this is a global, worldwide problem, that water levels are dropping significantly in rivers, and it's causing big problems for what? For business, for shipping. We're going to business ourselves out of business.
To the highest level in 8 years. Now, this is just as the busiest season for these barge and towboats, towboats and tows. I got that wrong in the previous video, and I promised I'd correct myself, so I apologize. Towboats and tows are about to get underway, and you got to think, put this in the context of world events. What's going on in Ukraine and Russia right now? We're seeing wheat and grain shortages coming out of there. So American grain coming out from the interior of the United States is absolutely essential. At the same time, those barges, once they get down to New Orleans and empty out their crops, have to fill back up with fertilizer. Well, fertilizer comes from 3 places. One's Morocco. Second is Florida, just north of Tampa. You don't know how close we came to losing fertilizer supply out of the United States had Hurricane Ian hit further north. But the third is Russia. And obviously, fertilizer is a premium right now. It is in short supply. And not only is it in short supply, but if we can't get it up the Mississippi, that's going to be a huge problem. And with rising barge rates, this is going to add another level of difficulty for our farmers.
Wow. Okay, so I'll
so
stop
this map done by NOAA and the National Weather Service shows you.
I'll stop it there. That's some pretty good information, right? So not only is the grain coming out of these areas going to be, the delivery of grains coming out of these areas is going to be impacted, but the delivery of fertilizer back up the Mississippi is going to be impacted. And he said one of the 3 major ports for fertilizer was in Tampa. We just missed getting drubbed pretty badly. I don't know, man. The truthers are just completely missing this whole story because they insist that climate change is false. They're totally missing like some really great stories about how climate change is about to wreck everything. I don't know. I mean, what's hilarious, you all know Jason Bermas. Jason Bermas has family who lost homes in Florida. And I'm in no way like celebrating that. That's sucks. That is horrible. That's horrific. It really sucks. But an interesting thing was that, a truther acknowledging that there was some weather, right? Because they never will acknowledge that there's actually like something going on. And if they do, it's like, oh, I think there's a storm or something. Anyways, right? They always do that stuff. But Ryan Christian in one video was like, just saying, oh, look at these cameramen playing up how bad the storm is. I was like, dude, people lost their houses. Like people got killed, and that's all you had to say about Hurricane Ian was that somebody was making this up? Like, that is wild. That is some wild misinformation going on there. Shame on you, Ryan. Shame on you for doing that. Your narrative is so deeply entrenched that you can't even acknowledge that people died or people lost their homes. That is wild. Shame on you for that. Love your work otherwise, but just the insistence on not covering this stuff is just mind-blowingly. I don't know what it's psychotic. I just can't even talk about it because I don't know, my narrative. What am I going to do about my narrative? Anyways, it's just as wild as say, I don't know, mainstream media doing the same thing to people. But seriously, like you guys are missing some great stories. You're missing a great thing to talk about, how all these problems that are coming our way, are multiplied. There's a multiplier called climate change. And some of these problems will be absolutely just caused straight up by climate change. I don't know how, every single major river in the world is going down how that's just not a story. I don't know, business and shipping and all kinds of things are being affected by these incredibly low water levels. I don't know how that is not a story that you would want to cover. It's funny though, mainstream media they're barely covering it. I'm sure somewhere they are, but barely. They're barely covering. Like this guy is talking about the Mississippi. Do you guys hear about the Mississippi anywhere else? No. Anyways, we're covering it here. But thank you, Scott Andrews, for that. I appreciate it. Again, heat waves over and over and over and over and over and over. The mainstream media is not covering. China is not covering, these serious, crazy, persistent heat waves. Because after a while, they're like, I don't know, how are we going to explain this? We might actually have to talk about climate change. We might actually have to admit we're in deep doo-doo. Extraordinarily hot day in Cyprus today, October 2nd, with a temperature of 41.2 C at Alonudi. This is the hottest October day in Cyprus climatic history. Hottest day in October. Again, temperature records just being smashed this year. 2022 is another record smashing year for high temperatures. I wonder what's going on. I wonder what is going on. The death toll from Ian is quite large, and Ian just, knocked around and bashed out a couple of different places. Yeah. Okay. Death toll continues to grow. Heavy floods predicted from Florida to southern mid-Atlantic. 77 dead. Power outages, just, massive destruction. Y'all have seen it. Massive destruction. The videos I've seen coming out are just wild. People really got slammed. And, I don't know what to say. It's a thing that's actually happening to people. Let's keep going. Roger Hallam is out, talking, pretty much saying the same thing he's been saying. He's saying, he's saying the complete polar opposite of what truthers are saying, in that climate change is fake and they're all making it up because they want to control you. He's like saying that they're lying to us. They're not telling us what's really going on. And that's absolutely the truth. He's actually the one that's more correct on this one. They're not telling you how bad it is, and they're not doing anything about it. And they don't plan on doing anything about it. And so he's saying that we need new leadership, because we're being led, down the primrose path, if you will. Let's see. We're going to talk about China for a second. And other news. Is any other news outlet reporting on this October heat wave in China? Not. I haven't seen many at all. All I see are people on Twitter talking about it, but I haven't seen any news stories. I haven't seen any coverage at all. And this has been going on for like months. And nobody seems to want to acknowledge it. It's just very interesting. And also on top of that, the interesting thing about this is this tweet is tagged because it links to China state-affiliated media website. Watch out! You might not want to get your news from them. persistent drought, heat wave, smother China, and it keeps on going. Didn't we see? I mean, it was like months ago that we saw pictures of the Yangtze and other rivers, completely dried out. Can we get this thing to open? I don't know. I don't know if we will. It's interesting, though. That's very interesting. I'm having a hard time opening this site. Why? Because it's linked to China state affiliated media? That's so weird. I can't open a news story. That's wild. Maybe I can find it elsewhere. Let's try. Boop-a-doo. I don't know. Is that all of a sudden nothing is working right now? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. It's weird. Anyways, persistent drought, heat wave continued to smother South China in October. Scope of affected area, rare case on record. Is Twitter still working? I guess so. That's so bizarre. I don't know why I can't get to that. I even tried searching it on Brave, and whatever reason, I couldn't get there. All right, it's 12:25. Guess what time that is? That's the time to check and see if we have any coffees or Rockfin tips or anything else I could read out. We do not. Yet, anyways. And all right, so we will continue. Let's see. We might continue a couple more minutes on YouTube, but I might jump off of YouTube pretty soon. Let's see where this is going. Yeah, you know what, YouTubers, thank you all for hanging out with me. I think we're going to jump over to Rockfin and Colin so you can listen to the rest of the show on Rockfin and Colin. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me every single day. And I will see you all tomorrow at noon at 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight. YouTubers, peace out. See you on Rockfin.